It's The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. Oh, what's on our mind today? We're another 24 hours removed from that traumatic experience we all had. I'll have to give some calmer thoughts on that debacle, the so-called debate. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, let's looking at the paper this morning. Looking at the paper. Listen to me, I sound like Grandpa. Like Dagwood and Blondie looking at the paper over the morning breakfast. Blondie! Baby dumpling, did you steal Daddy's sports section? Oh, there's another one of these stories. I think we've probably talked about this a couple times. These so-called feel-good stories that just drive me crazy. 89-year-old pizza delivery driver gets $12,000 tip surprise from a TikTok family. This is all over the place. I'm reading right now from CNN. They have a whole special section, CNN Heroes Salutes. Okay, here's how the story reads. The tables quickly turned for an 89-year-old pizza delivery driver who received a surprise delivery of his own from regulars on his route, a $12,000 tip. Derlin Newey was in disbelief Tuesday morning when the Valdez family knocked on the door of his Utah home. CNN affiliate KSL-TV was there to witness the moment. "How do I ever say thank you? I don't know what to say," said Newey as he held back tears of joy. Newey delivers pizzas for Papa John's about 30 hours a week. He told KSL that he started the job after realizing he couldn't live solely on Social Security. In addition to being a delivery driver, Newey is also a rising TikTok star thanks to some loyal customers inspired by his kindness. The Valdez family said they always ask for him when ordering pizza and started recording his deliveries as TikTok videos on their channel. "It's insane. Everybody loves him," said, "I can't do any more of this." So they ask their TikTok followers to chip in. They raise $12,000. They give it to him. And everybody is reporting this as just this end of the news happy story. Are you kidding me? An 89-year-old man is delivering pizzas because he can't afford to pay his bills? What kind of horror freak show nation do we live in? Not only that this actually happens in America, an 89-year-old man has to deliver pizzas, but then we have the mindless audacity to present this as a happy story without acknowledging the horror of it. Everybody's all smiles. Yeah, let's make the old guy cry tears of joy. Where do we live? What are we thinking? I mean, of course it's a good thing that this family raised $12,000 and gave it to him so he doesn't have to work so hard for half a year. Good Lord Jesus, Mary, Mother, and Joseph. Are you kidding me right now? Nowhere in this story does it even suggest at all that this is an unacceptable situation, that this old guy has to work. And delivering pizzas for Papa John's. Let's rub a little more salt on the wound here, shall we? You know about Papa John, right? You know about this guy. He's insanely rich, one of the worst companies to work for, lousy salary, no benefits. He's a big game hunter. He's one of these guys who poses with dead elephants and tigers. Papa John is one of the worst human beings on the planet. John Schnatter is his name. He had to step down as CEO of his own company because he's such a douchebag. He used a racial slur during an internal sensitivity training conference call. He got all snarky about the NFL and Black Lives Matter and the national anthem protests, all of that. It's on the wrong side of that issue. Yeah, anyway, so not to make it about him. Papa John, one of the bad guys. And one of his pizza delivery guys is 89-year-old Derlin Newey of Utah. Come on. What kind of world you guys want to live in? You want to live in this kind of world where this is our happy story for the day? We are just screwed up 100 different ways. Come on, you guys, come on. What else caught my eye? Oh, hey, now the Veep cast. You know, Veep, I haven't seen it because it's on HBO. I don't pay for TV. But I hear it's very good, or was very good. Of course, Veep is the series with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and a great ensemble cast, and very successful and very funny and very witty, biting political satire. Just a great success story. HBO's Veep. Well, reading now from Rolling Stone. A year after the Veep series finale, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and the cast of beloved HBO comedy will come together for a one-night-only virtual reunion to benefit, drumroll please, the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. So they did it with Princess Bride, which I tuned in for, and it was a hoot. It was really great. We talked about it. It was fun. It was really fun. It was a great experience. So the Democratic Party of Wisconsin is really sitting with the cool kids in the cafeteria. They got the cast of Princess Bride to do a whole evening with them to raise money. Then they got the cast of Parks and Rec. They also did a Zoom show. I didn't see that one. And now they've got the entire cast of Veep. For the October 4th live stream, Julia Louis-Dreyfus will be rejoined by former castmates, blah, 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 don't care. All roads to the White House go through the great state of Wisconsin. Trump can't win re-election if he doesn't win Wisconsin, Louis-Dreyfus said on Twitter. So the Democratic Party of Wisconsin has built an unprecedented voter mobilization operation, and they need resources in these final days to deliver Wisconsin to Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Harris. So, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, as you will recall, hosted one of the nights of the Democratic Convention. Was very funny. So there you go. All right. Why not? I can be very critical of popular culture and how it just ruins us. But, I'm not an ogre. I'm not a Grinch. Who doesn't love Veep? Come on. Get over yourselves. So there you go. Good for them. Good for them. Oh, can't let today get by without wishing a happy birthday to you. Former President Jimmy Carter celebrates his 96th birthday today. Former President Jimmy Carter marks his 96th birthday Thursday, the latest milestone for the longest-lived of the 44 men to hold the highest American office. Carter planned to celebrate at his home in Plains, Georgia, with his wife of 74 years, Rosalind Carter, according to a spokesperson for the Carter Center. Oh, what a guy. We love Jimmy around here. I told you the story. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the archives right now as we speak. And I'm going to check so I can give you the episode number. I'm not going to retell the story now, but I had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Carter. And it was a wonderful experience. It was just a fantastic experience. And I told the story in nice detail. Let's see, I'm looking right now to find the episode number for you. There it is, episode 44. Originally aired December 7th, 2019, the day I met Jimmy Carter. So go to charlesburcell.com, go to the podcast page. It's very simple to navigate, I promise you. It's very easy. charlesburcell.com, go to the podcast, go to the log, and then scroll down to episode 44. And I'd love for you to listen to that. Beautiful story. Beautifully told, if I do say so myself. So happy birthday, Jimmy Carter. We love you around here. During his presidency, not one shot fired. In a nation that's been at war for pretty much every year of its existence, except for maybe, 15, 16 years tops. Well, 4 of those years were under President Jimmy Carter. Never fired a shot. Didn't drop a bomb. Didn't do it. Had the one botched military maneuver where they were going to try to rescue the hostages, and that failed, and that was very sad. But as far as military action goes, no, that was about it. During the Carter administration, no shots fired, no bombs dropped. I remember reading at the time international observers saying the day he took office, the world was different because of his commitment to human rights. He made clear as a candidate, and he made good as a president, his promise that his foreign policy would be centered on human rights. You want to do business with the United States? Get your human rights portfolio in order. It was his top priority on the world stage, and it made a difference on day one and for the 4 years he held office. A remarkable man. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jimmy. Happy birthday to you. Da-dee-dee-dee. Love the guy. Just love the guy. And in a complete contrast from good to evil, okay, what's the latest from the Orange Menace administration? Well, first of all, he's still coming to Wisconsin. Going to hold 2 rallies, one in La Crosse at the airport there, and then he's going to fly over to Green Bay for another rally. His own coronavirus task force has flagged both La Crosse and Green Bay as coronavirus red zones, the highest level of concern for community spread of the virus. Lord mercy. Wisconsin is in deep shit right now concerning the virus. As I sit here in River West, the greatest neighborhood in the world, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we are a global hotspot right now. Our positivity rate is through the roof. We hit 28% a couple days ago. Yeah, this thing is raging right now. And he's going to have not 1, but 2 rallies in the state. 2 of his super spreader rallies. That was another one of his lies that neither Biden or Chris Wallace called him out on. Not to blame them. I mean, it's impossible to keep fact-checking the guy. But yeah, that one slipped through when he said that, oh, well, my rallies have been fine. No problem. No problems with the virus. Yeah, you know, your buddy Herman Cain died. And it's well documented that your rallies are spreading events, especially the indoor ones, which you've had a few of now. Yeah, there was a big old spike in Tulsa, the one that took Herman Cain out. So now he's coming to Green Bay. And it's not just, I mean, we know this, right? It's not just the MAGA hatters. It's not just the deplorables. They go to the damn rally and then they go home. Then they spread out all around the state, back to their homes, and hang out with their families and go to the store and go to the bowling alley and do whatever they do. And they spread the whole damn thing everywhere. So his dopey little MAGA rallies is literally putting my life in danger and your life, quite literally. It's not hyperbole. It's not an exaggeration. It's not a metaphor. It's not an analogy. It's simple, cold fact. His very presence increases your risk and mine. Man, is there a prize for being the worst human being on earth? He wins, man. He just wins. All right, let's run through some Orange Menace stories just because. We need to know what the guy's doing. If you're on the L train with a seriously deranged guy a few down seats from you, you keep an eye on him. Right? Don't you? Oh, he's unpleasant, so let's ignore him. No, you keep an eye on him for your own damn safety. So that's what I'm doing right now. We just got to keep an eye on the guy. NBC News. Internal document shows Trump officials were told to make comments sympathetic to Kyle Rittenhouse. Of course, he's the Illinois Nazi kid who came up to Kenosha and killed a couple people. Federal law enforcement officials were directed to make public comments sympathetic to Kyle Rittenhouse, the teenager charged with fatally shooting 2 protesters in Kenosha, Wisconsin, according to internal Department of Homeland Security talking points obtained by NBC News. In preparing Homeland Security officials for questions about Rittenhouse from the media, the document suggests that they note that, quote, he took his rifle to the scene of the rioting to help defend small business owners. So, the Department of Homeland Security is telling its staff, if anybody's asked about this, we're with the kid. The kid is cool. We're on the Kyle Rittenhouse team. As we speak, there's a whistleblower from DHS who Director Chad Wolf is calling a liar. This whistleblower is saying this is what the DHS does. It manipulates information. It manipulates intelligence for the purposes of serving the Fuhrer in the White House. Chad Wolf in all sorts of trouble already from the Inspector General at DHS, and so they're at odds. A judge ruled recently that he shouldn't even be in his position. He's there illegally because he's been acting director for so long. The DHS hasn't had a confirmed director, and the director needs to be confirmed by the Senate for over a year. So he's in his position illegally as it is. I guess the Senate is now poised to confirm him after all this time. They've had some contentious hearings, and of course it'll go down on a party line vote. But yeah, this is how things work. Pompeo at State, bootlicker Bill Barr at DOJ, Wilbur Ross at Commerce, Eugene Scalia at Labor, all of them. Henchmen. Every damn one of them. So here's just another example. All right, let's go back and have just a small conversation about Tuesday night's shit show. Had a day to calm down, and I can't say that I have, but I do have some thoughts I think, upon reflection, need to be expressed. Just last week, you and I were talking about so-called norms and traditions, and the fact that the Orange Menace has just busted through all of them. And that's a little hard for some of us because we can't really complain too much about that because we want to bust norms and traditions too. The presidential debates being a perfect example. So we have to be careful how we criticize and not just fall in line with the conventional wisdom. I was once in a relationship where I came into that relationship being a little bit of a radical, not a conventional thinker at all, not a conformist. But I got into a relationship with someone who was so off the wall. Her ideas were really quite eccentric, even for me. And so if you look at the spectrum, she's way out here in left field. And I find myself being pulled more and more to the center, where I am defending norms and traditions that I never would have dreamed of defending before. By comparison, I became the conformist. And it was a very uncomfortable position for me to be in. Well, that's what's happening now. The Orange Menace and the deplorables are so outrageous that by comparison, I'm the centrist. So that makes me a little uncomfortable, and I've got to be careful sometimes about how I express this. And of course, central to the Orange Menace strategy is to completely destroy the idea that we even can have normal politics, that we can have things like debates and elections. And so this broad coalition I keep talking about, those of us on the very far left, all the way through the spectrum to the center-right moderate conservatives, we've got to come together to save these basic institutions. But all the while, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that many of these institutions really are broken and need quite serious reform. And the most fundamental institutions, like debate and elections, they're in need of reform more than anything else. So it's a case of walking and chewing gum at the same time. Yes, I'm with the coalition. I'm with the broad coalition against the very clear MAGA deplorable strategy of creating chaos. No, I don't want chaos. I want reform. So if you and I are of like mind, if we want really big reform, if we really want to shake things up, we have to maintain that commitment, not lose sight of it, even as we join the broad coalition to at least uphold the current system, save the current system, even though it's in need of extreme reform. We have to save the current system in order to reform it. We cannot give in to chaos. And as much as we claim to reject the Orange Menace, if we give in to his chaos theory, then he's winning. We become the deplorables. You might as well wear a MAGA hat. If you get cynical and say it's all a crock and there's nothing we can do, go ahead, put on a MAGA hat, because he just won you over. So we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. You can do the two things at once. You can support the broad coalition, and you can advocate for deep fundamental reform. You can. We can do both things at once. Yeah, this commission on presidential debates, oh my God, they can just suck it. Talk about bad for democracy. Oh man. Run by the two parties, run by the two corporate parties, set up in such a way that no third party is ever going to get into a debate. I want to ask you an honest question, and I want you to give me an honest answer. If a third party candidate was in Tuesday's debate, where do you suppose that third party candidate would be polling today? If third party candidates had half the media coverage that the two corporate parties get, or even a third, or even a tenth of the media coverage, their poll numbers would soar. And I'm talking at this point any third party, whether it's libertarians, Greens, socialists, you name it. And if we had a different system for campaigning, and if we abolished the Commission on Presidential Debates, this insult to democracy, and we're able to establish an actually democratic, small d democratic way to debate the issues, and had 3 or 4 or 5 candidates on the stage, on the debate stage, the American people would suddenly see for the first time, oh, look at that. There's some other ideas out there. There are some other choices. The American people aren't stupid. Check that. Most of the American people aren't stupid. The dumbest among us are the loudest, and they have outsized power. And because of this ridiculous, undemocratic election process, have votes that count for 2, 3, 4, and 10 times more than your vote counts, because of gerrymandering, because of the Electoral College, because of the makeup of the U.S. Senate, because of the primary process, especially on the Republican side. Well, on the Democratic side, too. No progressive is ever going to get through. Although, there are, I think, the latest count is like 95 members of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. Something like that. So that's kind of nice. And there you get into the fight of, the traditional fight, reform from within or go third party. That's a big conversation that we can have. But, you got people like Ed Markey, you got AOC, you got the Squad, and that's their argument. We're reforming from we're working from the inside. Now we can have that debate. That's a huge conversation. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong, at least not today. I will say this. I have a very strong feeling right now that this is the last vote for a lot of voters. A lot of voters are thinking right now, okay, Joe, you've got my last vote. This is the last time I'm voting, says the Democratic voter. This is the last time I'm voting for the Democratic Party. The last time. Because of the extraordinary situation we're in, all right, you've got this one. But I think there are a lot of voters out there, this is my suspicion, that are saying that exact thing. This is it. You got exactly one more vote, and then I'm done with you. You either allow AOC and the Squad and the Progressive Caucus to take over your party, quite literally take it over, or I'm gone. You've seen my vote for the very last time. So to bring this back down to more trivial matters, we do have to get through the next 33 days here. The next presidential debate is in a little under 2 weeks, October 15th. Is that right? Yeah, exactly 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight. And the aforementioned Commission on Presidential Debates has leaked to the press that it looks like there's going to be something done with the microphones. Other than that, they haven't decided. They have said, yes, we have to change the rules. It's like when Wilt Chamberlain started scoring 100 points a game, the NBA said, you know what, we're going to have to change the rules because of this guy. Well, going back to our norms and traditions conversation, the Orange Menace has thrown such a huge A-bomb into this thing that it's forced the commission to change the rules. So it looks like they're going to have a mic turn off somehow. Just turn off the mic after 2 minutes or while the other candidate is speaking. That's as far as they've gone so far. We'll see what happens between now and the 15th. My sister and I were talking about it. My sister Michelle, who I love. Hi, Michelle. We were brainstorming a little bit on how they should change the rules. And yeah, the microphone thing, everybody came up with that. Even during the debate, that everybody on social media was saying, cut off their mics. But we were brainstorming a little bit. I don't know, maybe put them in separate rooms and make it more like a Zoom call. And so if you're not speaking, you're on mute. And that's not just a funny little idea. I think it's quite realistic, actually. Now, it's sad and pathetic that we'd have to go to that extreme, but here we are. I mean, I guess the very idea that we would go that far, I guess when I think about it, it's not going to happen. But you know what? That would work. Just a basic Zoom meeting and with a mute button. Or have them on stage together, in each of them in their own soundproof booth, right? This plexiglass thing so we can see them, they can see us. But they can't see each other, so they can't distract each other. I don't know. And then as Michelle and I were talking, one of us came up with the idea that kind of a 3 strikes you're out rule. If somebody breaks the rules 3 times, they're asked to leave. Just, you're gone. And now your opponent gets the rest of the 90 minutes, whatever's remaining, to talk to America about whatever he wants. I thought that'd be good. And then as we're brainstorming, we thought, okay, make it like a reality show. And if a candidate does get kicked off for breaking the rules, he has to go into another room, but he remains on camera. And everybody just gets to watch him stew. and eat from the craft services table. Sit out in the alley and have a smoke. and the camera just shows him the whole time, stewing. They just keep cutting back to him, being depressed, while the other candidate gets to talk to America. So we thought that was a pretty good idea. Either that or have them on a big high platform. And if you break the rules, a la Ellen's Game of Games, you just drop through the trapdoor. And you're gone. All right, lots of good ideas here. Let's mull those over. All right, I love you guys. Don't forget to download and subscribe at your favorite podcast platform. Search Charles Purcell and boom, there will be. We'll come right up. Or listen Monday through Friday on our flagship terrestrial station, River West Radio, over riverwestradio.com. Theme music composed and performed by Peter Donalds. This is The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. See ya!